Darren Lizzie here with my review of Star Wars: A Rogue One Story. Star Wars: A Rogue One Story is directed by Gareth Edwards and stars Felicity Jones, Diego Luna, Ben Mendelsohn, Donnie Yen, Mads Mikkelsen, Alan Tudyk, Riz Ahmed, Jang Wynn, and Forrest Whitaker. This is the second film in the Disney Star Wars lineup following last year's The Force Awakens. This film follows the group of rebels who stole the Death Star plans and ignited the spark that the rebellion needed. This film is also the first of its kind. It's the first Star Wars story, the first film that's kind of outside of the Skywalker trilogy, if you would say. The first Star Wars spinoff that really walked uncharted territory with new characters. And I gotta say, for Disney's first Star Wars story, they do a pretty damn good job. Rogue One: A Star Wars Story was a joy to watch, a necessary and unique addition to the Star Wars saga. This new story follows Jyn Erso, daughter of Galen Erso, the creator of the Death Star. Jyn is recruited by the struggling rebels to rescue her father and retrieve the plan to the superstructure known as the Death Star, which has the capability to destroy planets. You know this. You should know this. So Jyn and a rebel officer, Cassian Andor, embark on a journey to find Jyn's father, forming an alliance with rogues along the way, and sparking the hope that the rebellion desperately needs. So Rogue One, in a way, is the Star Wars movie I've always wanted to see. A movie without Jedi that takes a more grounded approach to storytelling and its characters. What do people in this universe who can't lift rocks with their mind do against impossible odds? This version of the Star Wars universe feels rightfully more worn and beaten than others. So do the characters. Rogue One, the team that is formed throughout the film, they're a group of battle-worn individuals. Their homes have been taken away. Their lives have been altered drastically by the Empire. Jyn herself has become hopeless and aimless after the Empire captured her father. She doesn't really believe in the cause of the rebellion, but she is eventually swayed when she discovers the true intent of her father's creation. Felicity Jones gives an amazing pain performance as Jyn. Her hopelessness and stubbornness to stay away from the fight is extremely believable due to the character's predicament, but as she does come around toward the third act, you believe that she has become this inspirational figure, that she has become a person that wants to fight, that really wants to take down the Empire. Diego Luna plays Cassian Andor, a character that I was not expecting to have as much depth as he does. This is a dark character with a lot of weight put on his shoulders. This character also allows you to see the rebellion from a different perspective. They're not as squeaky clean and heroic as we always thought. Diego never really took me out of the film. He felt like a real... He never felt like, none of the characters, really, none of the actors in this film really felt like, just actors playing their parts. They felt like characters entrenched in this universe, and you feel that from Diego especially. You feel like, he really has seen the horrors of war. He's been in this for a long time. And his character's been in this fight for a very long time, since he was 6, and you really feel that through the pain through his, demonstrated through his eyes and his face, so he did an amazing job in this film. Mads Mikkelsen plays Galen Erso, the man responsible for creating the Death Star. Mads Mikkelsen gives a heartbreaking, show-stopping performance in this film that might even get a tear out of the toughest Star Wars fan. If you want to hire someone for dropping a whole lot of exposition but still keep you engaged, hire Mads Mikkelsen. Mads also gets to tangle with a former partner in crime, the main villain of this piece, director Orson Krennic, played brilliantly by Ben Mendelsohn. He plays a man on the wire overlooking the completion of the Death Star. He's a slimy, villainous creature who has a direct tie to Jyn and her father. Read this book, you'll find out more about those ties. I love how the clock is ticking against Krennic and how he butts heads with a certain character from the past that shows up in this film. Though I would have liked to see his desperation go a little further. I really wanted to see how far Krennic would go to retain this position that he has of, being in charge of the Death Star. I wanted to see that delved into a little bit further. But overall, I still did enjoy Ben Mendelsohn in this role. We also have Jyn Wynn, who plays Baz and holds the best gun in the Star Wars universe. This is the best gun I have seen in the Star Wars universe. This is the coolest. It's like an automatic fucking thing that just fires so many blaster bolts. He takes out I think he does it a few times in this movie where he takes out just 7 guys in a row with this gun. It's the most incredible thing. Every time this thing fired, I let out a squeal of joy. I've seen the movie twice and still it's just like, oh my god, yes, it's so cool. This thing is so cool. Baz himself is a stubborn mercenary and a former Guardian of the Whills. The Guardians of the Whills looked over the Kyber crystals, which the Kyber crystals helped power the Jedi's lightsabers, and they also powered the Death Star. He looks after Chirrut, which we will get to in a few minutes, and grows to despise the Empire due to their occupation of his world, Jedha. He has a great arc that comes full circle in a beautiful way and takes charge in a lot of the more bombastic action scenes. Now, rounding off the characters of this film, there are 4 characters that were absolute standouts for me. One of my favorite being Riz Ahmed's Bodhi. I absolutely love this character. He was the most human, that was human, out of the bunch for me. I liked how he was a defector from the Empire after he learned what they were building, and his passion and will to fight. He's a man who really wants to better himself, who really wants to right the wrongs of what he's done, how he's been on the side of the Empire, and he wants to change that. His character was somewhat similar to Finn in The Force Awakens, Finn being a defector himself, except, it was just digged into a little bit more. You really got to see where he was coming from and why he was doing it, and he wanted to do it for Galen. He knows Galen Erso, and he really wanted to, he wanted to do it for him and to, just right the wrongs of, the Death Star and siding with the Empire. So I really liked his arc there. My second favorite character was Chirrut Îmwe, played by the great Donnie Yen. He's a blind guardian of the Kyber crystals, and is a believer, not user of the Force. Every one of his action scenes are better than the last, and he provides some great comic relief. He and Baz play off of each other so well that honestly, I wouldn't mind seeing another Star Wars story just with those two, going on adventures around the universe. Galaxy. I meant to say galaxy. My third favorite character is K2SO. Alan Tudyk plays this character and joins the great pantheon of Star Wars droids. Think of K as a ruder, bracer version of CP3O. He doesn't have a filter. He says what's ever on his mind, and he also throws down. He can fight. He's not afraid to fight some stormtroopers, which I really enjoyed. K really does round out the personality of the team, and you do grow extremely emotionally attached to this droid because he just oozes personality and oozes character, and Alan Tudyk adds so much to that and provides a lot of that through his delivery of his lines and just his interaction with the entire team. This is definitely a droid that we're never going to forget. Fourth is, of course, Darth Vader himself. Darth Vader casts his looming presence over the film, breathing down Krennic's neck and doing some other stuff. All I'll say is Vader does something in this film that I've been waiting to see since The Force Unleashed. It's glorious. You will not be disappointed by the use of Vader in this film. The action in this film is incredible, probably the best action we've seen in a Star Wars movie yet. You feel every blaster bolt fired, you feel every explosion, you feel when X-Wings and TIE Fighters fly through the frame. There's never any doubt that our characters are in danger in this film either. You really do feel the might of the Empire. And the scale of the Empire as well. The Death Star, the Star Destroyers, the AT-STs, as they're called in this film, they're cargo thingies. So that's why you'll see like flaps that can open because they can carry stuff inside of them. It's kind of cool. And also space battles. There's space battles in this movie. We didn't get a space battle in this Force Awakens, but we get one in this film, and it's pretty awesome. It's very awesome. There's cameos in there as well from other characters in the Star Wars universe, which is great, and how they work them in. How they work those cameos in, it kind of changes the game of what we can do in the next coming years about... the movie came out last weekend, but, people are still catching up, but it's just incredible what we can do now with technology and like how they put that in, and also just how good the CGI looks. These things look like models crashing into each other. They look like models flying through space. The Star Destroyers look beautiful. There's point POV shots of X-Wings flying through space and flying through canyons. It's Gareth Edwards he knows how to film this action and really bring that war aesthetic to Star Wars. But along with that action, thankfully, we have emotion. You feel emotionally connected to these characters. When something bad happens to these characters, you care. When they're in danger, when they're on the line, you want them to get out of it. And that's one of the great things about this movie also. It's not just a straight action movie. There's emotion. There's emotion. There's characters that really have to struggle with what they're doing or what they've become. This film takes time to show the scars of war and how war changes people. This is a very adult Star Wars movie that's not afraid to take risks. Different things happen in this movie that we haven't seen in a Star Wars movie, or that you wouldn't expect from a Disney movie or whatever, because Disney can take risks, guys. They're not just all, kid-friendly and shit. And even like with the kid-friendly stuff, how many Disney characters have parents that are still living? Just think about that. They're not, it's not all like dandelions and fairy tales over there. It's just like shit happens. Like watch a Pixar movie. Not always happy with that. I mean, like, you even got Cars 3, you know, Lightning Queen's flying through the fucking air, everything changes. What the hell? Anyway, this movie is also extremely hopeful with enough moments of levity to break, you know, the grimness of it all. We also go to some pretty cool worlds, including Scarif and Jedha. Jedha feels very, very lived in. It's definitely a world that I want to see go back to in the Star Wars universe. Hopefully we can find a way to do that either pre Rogue One, after Rogue One, 30 years later. I want to see, like, what has that city, what does that planet and that city become following the events of Rogue One? I definitely want to see that. And also Scarif was just a great change of aesthetic as well, because we've never really seen the beach in Star Wars, and just having the palm trees and everything. And you have AT-STs stumping through palm trees, and, you know, ships crashing into the beach. It was really cool to see. And there's also this asteroid planet that I really loved how it was connected and floating through space. That was awesome as well. Also, Easter eggs galore, and none of them feel forced. None of them, you know, feel like they're out of place. They all make you smile when you see them. They all make you like, oh, that guy was there doing this thing, and, you know, so that was great to see. And also, Star Wars Rebels, there's cameos from certain things in that movie. Keep your eyes out for that. If you're gonna catch some things, and it's really cool to see. I love the connectivity of Star Wars. Other than, I think Star Wars is the best at the shared universe game at the moment. I know MCU has been going for a long time. The DCU is starting to get going as well. But it's just, everything feels absolutely connected. From the comic books, to the books, to the novels, to the novelizations, to the animated series. Everything truly does feel connected in a way that's just like, yeah, this thing can pop up here, this thing can pop up there. Sorry for my phone. All these things can pop up in all of these places, and none of them feel out of place. They all feel connected, and they can all, you know, sift back into their animated forms or their comic forms. So yeah, I really do love the connectivity that Star Wars has brought forth in their films. Also, the ending to Rogue One, no spoilers, of course, but, you know, they get the Death Star plans. If you didn't know, they kind of succeed in doing that, because there's a movie called New Hope that's kind of based around that. So just throwing that out there. But the bridge to New Hope is incredible. I mean, it's hopeful, as I said before. It's hopeful, and it makes you want to throw in A New Hope right after you see the movie. So I really like how that was, you know, it's really finally connected. It goes from point A to point B, and I really love that. Now, no film is perfect, and Rogue One isn't the exception. As much as I like this film, I still do have some problems with it. Firstly, being the Death Troopers. I found these characters the equivalent to Captain Phasma from The Force Awakens. They just look cool. They don't do anything. What makes these guys different from the regular stormtroopers? They're other than them being black and they have like green, which I don't even think they used in the movie. Like, you saw that in the promotional material, they had like green glowing, their mask glowed green, but I don't think that actually happened. I don't know, just like, I just feel like characters like Captain Phasma or the Death Troopers, if you hype them up that much, give them a scene that makes them the elite. What makes them so? They follow Krennic around. They are Krennic's squad. So what makes them so elite? What makes them so, like, give them a scene of them, you know, slaughtering some rebels with precision in, you know, ways that we couldn't. I mean, I would imagine them like they're SEAL Team 6. And the Death Troopers are just, you know, they're the normal Marines or whatever, but this is SEAL Team 6. They go in, they do the dirty work, and they're efficient as hell. And I didn't get that from these characters. They really didn't do anything of relevance to me. And they were just, you know, they look cool. They sounded, like, I wanted to know, why did they sound inhuman? Like, were they aliens? Because as far as I know, the Empire doesn't hire aliens to work with them. They're kind of xenophobic, so I don't know. I just wanted to know a little bit more about them, and for them to do more. Like, stop introducing these characters that look cool, because, you know, it just comes off of, you know, it just comes off as these will make some nice toys. So I just wish that these characters, these standout characters that we see in these promotional materials that look very cool, and they look like they're going to have some type of impact, that they would actually have impact. Secondly, I didn't really enjoy the pacing of this movie. It during the second act, it hit a lot of speed bumps, and you're constantly kind of sitting there like, get to the point a little bit. Let's get to that climax that we've been hearing so much about. So, yeah, I mean, it just hit a little speed bumps along the way. Also, I wanted to see the team interact with each other a little bit more. I would have liked if they went on another mission, a mission or two before we got to Scarif, before we got to the beach. Just wanted to see a little bit more of the dialogue, a little bit more of those smaller moments between the team, just for their bond to form a little bit more before they're all split off on Scarif. Also, this isn't really against the film. I'm not really holding this against the film. It's just, but I really want to know. What the hell, Rebels? Like, the Rebels are wimps in this movie. Like, they don't really have any type of direct action, and I understand that this was the Rebels' first victory, like you saw that in the crawl of New Hope. Like, this is the Rebels' first victory. This is their Rebels' like first real win against the Empire, but it's just like, they struggle going to this, and this is minor spoilers. But they struggle going to this place that they need to go to, and they have the opportunity to really change the game in this whole entire Rebel versus Empire thing. And they don't do it. And it's just like, really why? Because you're scared? But you have like, if you know the Death Star plans are there, and you're scared of the Death Star, but you have the ability to destroy the Death Star by going to this place, get your fleet, or get a small section of your fleet, go to that place, steal the fucking Death Star plans, and get the hell out of there. It's just like, it's that simple. I don't think there needs to be any debate of like, oh, the Empire has so much power and they're going to destroy us and shit. It's just like, you have the opportunity to get the thing that will destroy you, to get the fall of the thing that will destroy you so you can destroy that thing. So why not go do that? It's just, why was there, put on your big boy pants, put on your big girl pants, and go do your fucking job. You're the Rebels. Go do your fucking job. Go rebel. Now, with all that being said, overall, I still enjoyed Rogue One. Is this the best Star Wars movie ever? No. Is it a damn good movie and a unique war story? Yeah. Bob Iger, the head of Disney, said about a year or two ago that he wants to do Star Wars movies every single year. And to do that, you have to change the game. You have to bring in some new elements. You have to stay unique. You have to stay fresh. And Rogue One does that. They switch up the formula, they introduce new characters, they introduce new action, they introduce new planets. They expand the universe, and they also introduce a new tone. They show that Disney isn't afraid to take risks with this property. If you're a Star Wars fan, you've already seen this movie. This review is being posted on Tuesday or Wednesday, so you've already seen it. If you're not a Star Wars fan and you're on the fence, and you're wondering about whether or not you should see this movie, you've been hearing a lot about it during opening week, and you're thinking about going the next weekend, go see it. I would recommend it. It's a fun ride that's different from your average Star Wars episode. This movie also gives me a lot of faith in Han Solo in Episode 7. If Disney's willing to take the chances it did with this movie, then we're in good hands for the next few years. So, with all that being said, what did you guys think of Rogue One? Did you like it? Did you hate it? Please let me know in the comment sections below. Also, if you like this video, please give me a thumbs up. And also, if you like hearing me talk about movies or trailer reviews, please hit that subscribe button. Come join the conversation. I'll be glad to have you. Also, hit that bell. I think you have to hit bells now. I've been gone for a bit and things have changed, so I think you have to hit like a bell for notifications or some shit. I don't know. YouTube changed some things, so yeah. If you want to hit that bell, that'd be great as well. Also, check out Cinema Squad. It's a website a couple of friends are running. There you can check out movie reviews, trailer reviews. My friend Miller, one of our writers over there, he's doing a like Santa's list. He counts down a list of his favorite Christmas movies for 25 days. And you can also check out Dylan Boyd's review of Rogue One over on that website as well. With all that being said, I'm Darren Lacy Jr. I hope you enjoyed this review, and I am of the Force, and the Force is with me. I am of the Force, and the Force is with me.